For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Unfortunately, you are never surprised when someone is shot in St. Lucia. There's been one such incident on the island. As for the vendors, they banded together against injustice. And we hear from an operative of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. My name is Timothy Poleon. We go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon. And Amanda is on set. She'll be going through some of your comments in the chat room. And we will be engaging each other via your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. As we say hello and hi, particularly to the detractors. Those of you who are detractors, you don't like me, but you love to monitor the show. Welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast. There has been another shooting in St. Lucia, and I know you are not surprised. That's what happens when we give politicians carte blanche. Those who are in authority, we give them carte blanche to do as they please and also to be complacent and not to take their jobs seriously, because they know all they have to muster is not courage, but come up with a few excuses. Look at the bottle, half full and not half empty. Also, it could have been worse. Instead of one person being shot and killed, another person injured, could have had more, 2 or 3 or 4 people losing their lives as a result of the indiscriminate shooting incident which occurred this week on the Derek Walcott Square. It could have been worse. And so today, according to emergency service personnel, a man had to be rushed to hospital responding to a shooting incident. That's the emergency personnel responding to that shooting incident, which occurred at about 12:30 a.m. in Gara. At the scene, the responders found the man conscious and alert on the ground with a penetrating wound to the chest, and before transporting him for further medical attention, the emergency personnel administered emergency first aid. And according to information, the patient was stable at the time, and we wish him a speedy recovery. The responsibility of any government, whether it is headed by somebody by the name of Philip J. Pierre, Kenny Anthony, or Alan Chasney, is to ensure that we exist in a stable environment, an environment where people are accountable for their actions, whether you are a government minister, whether you are an ordinary citizen, whether you're a police officer, whether you're a nurse, medical doctor, etc. Because you want stability so that people can coexist with one another. Yes, there will be disappointments. Yes, there will be squabbles of one kind or another. But we all are guided by certain things, certain principles. And we understand that the fundamentals will always ensure that we go according to certain guidelines, because certain fundamentals will be maintained. There will be order. It's not a case where there is disorder, chaos, and confusion. And talking about the word carte blanche, where criminal elements in our society believe that they can act in a brazen manner, and the authorities will make all kind of excuses. And this is what obtains right now in St. Lucia. When we hear from operatives of political parties, whether it's on the government side or the opposition, we'll know that in the case of the governing side, they will paint a particular picture to you, and they'll give you the impression, and they will create a scenario whereby things could have been worse. It's all about the ministry of truth. It's what kind of truth? Something that is distorted. And so I heard from the public relations officer of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party yesterday. I'd like to pronounce her name, Lisa Shawayer. And obviously, she came in to put a defense for the government against the background of what has been happening in this country, in particular with regard to the serious crime problem.
Yes, we know we blame government. Yes, we talk.
Clearly, we cannot blame any government and say that they're the ones who are causing the crimes to occur, are directly causing it to happen, or they are instigating it. But somehow, inadvertently, through the actions and inactions and the messages that they send to the citizenry, they might be conveying a message of, we are just not serious about the task that is before us right now. Whether we are National Security Minister, whether we are Minister with responsibility for crime prevention, I mean, these days, before he got the job, or got responsibility for the portfolio of crime prevention, we heard a lot more from Mr. Jeremiah Norbert. He has gotten the job, and now he's organizing domino competitions and various activities at the constituency level, because it's all about protecting the victory. And remember what the Prime Minister said over in Dominica a few Sundays ago, that they will have a general elections in St. Lucia, a general election in St. Lucia very soon. But the government has to take responsibility for the task that is before it. The Prime Minister says that there's some things that, that he is saddled with, keeping awake at nights, okay? And that, I'm sure, would be crime. And he would be scratching his head and thinking about the problem, mulling over it. He needs to put some kind of system in place whereby there'll be a font of, it will serve as a font of ideas. And we have heard recommendations being made to the solution leader, recommendation after recommendation. And he too has been asking for ideas. It is very clear, whether you want to compare to what is happening in a number of other Caribbean territories, what is happening in Trinidad and Jamaica and Guyana, etc., that we have not, as a country, gotten to the point where we have gotten a handle on crime in terms of managing it. Let us be clear about this. You cannot eradicate crime, not in the United States, not in China, not in Singapore, although the countries like Singapore, they have it under control. But in St. Lucia, the criminals, we have just given them the latitude to run amok. And this is reflected every other day in this country. And there is no end to how brazen they will act. You have anticipated that two men on a motorcycle, broad daylight, just before 2 or after 2 in the afternoon, would be firing at two other individuals, or maybe more individuals, I don't know, but individuals who are on the Derek Walcott Square. And I know that many of you in the diaspora, you take those things more seriously than the people in St. Lucia who are just so laid back, who have gotten so inured to this situation, this climate of crime in our country, to the extent that if a talk show host has been consistent in highlighting the problem and calling upon the authorities to work more diligently to arrest it, he is being described as an enemy of the state. The Prime Minister said recently, referring to this short guy, preaching about the sky is falling, the sky is falling. We are at that level and we've been at that stage for a very long time. It's a case where, unfortunately, the St. Lucian leader has not taken the job seriously. This amounts to wanting a job. You eagerly campaigning for the job. You went to the board of directors or the managing director at an interview and you boasted about being the most readied for that particular job. And it ends up that you're not equipped. On the contrary, you're just not capable of giving any semblance of an ability to perform that task, for which, as in the case of the politician, you campaigned incessantly, night after night, day after day. And you're given the opportunity, you're failing the people in this regard, and it's proving very costly in terms of people losing their lives and other people being injured, and a large section of the society being very fearful, living in fear. That is a fact. Don't know if anyone will call to dispute it. That is a fact, man. A lot of people are living in fear in St. Lucia. And the same obtains for the quality of health care that we are receiving at this time. And let's hear from Lisa Jarayer, who called yesterday's NewsSpin broadcast and said that the situation which occurred at the Derek Walcott Square, though unfortunate, could have been worse.
Yes, we know we blame government. Yes, we talk about we have stringent gun penalties, and it really boils down to the magistrates because it's at the magistrate's discretion. It's really on every single one of us because somebody I know was walking near Castries, and it could have been them. It could have been a family member of any one of ours, God forbid. And I'm really happy that, it's sad what transpired, but we didn't lose any more lives than we could have.
Just imagine if Lisa Jarayer was speaking this time around as the PRO of an opposition St. Lucia Labour Party. What do you think the narrative would have been? Let's listen now to Aaron Alexander, because he was my guest on last evening's News Make Alive program in his capacity as the president of the Ionola Council for the Advancement of Rastafari. And listen to what he has to say reacting to this incident on the Derek Walker Square.
My brothers, you know, I mean, I don't know what that person could have done to you all for you all to move that kind of way and come, you know, on a motorcycle and open fire like that in a public place. My brothers, I don't know what that person had done to you all to deserve that. I know there's a lot of disrespect going out there among youth, among the you know, young men, you know, a lot of disrespect, a lot of cheating going on amongst, you know, that one take that one goods. I know there's a lot of these things going on out there, but my brothers, that's not the way. That's not the way. Your sister could have been there, your mother could have been there. Who knows, one of your relatives could have been there and gotten hurt or probably even killed. My brothers, that's not the way to solve the problems. You know, if you have an issue with somebody, try to reach out to an elder in your community. You know, try to reach out to somebody you can trust and let them know the situation and see if somebody could intervene and have some kind of mediation. But that really is out of place, that kind of behavior, my brothers. You know, and we all really need to check. You know, we cannot go down as a society. We cannot be behaving that kind of a way. They have children, you know, in the area. You know, my goodness, my brothers, you all really need to check your behavior. And whatever it is persons have done to you all that hurt you all so badly, and you all really need to, you know, get some healing. You know, some healing. You all need to get some healing of a situation you're going through. And there are others like you all out there that might be looking at that and want to do the same thing, or might be looking forward to hurting somebody in such a way. I appealing to you all, my brothers. I'm making an appeal to you all to find other ways to deal with the situation. Try to reach out to people you all can trust and have a conversation, have some sort of mediation, and see how we could bring this thing to a close. Revenge will only bring more revenge and more bloodshed, my brothers. But that behavior there on the Derek Walker Square, that was totally off, my brothers, you know. And check what is happening, man. There are children that could have been killed in that whole drive-by thing, man. Check yourself, my brothers. I appeal to you all. I appeal to you all, better angels, and your conscience. Have a conscience, my brothers, because, well, it's not good at all, my brothers.
My brothers, Aaron Alexander issuing a plea there for forbearance on your part. We take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And, of course, we have the comments in the chat room. Let's turn my attention to Amanda King. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, News Spinners. Someone says, can a government made up of criminals be successful in the fight against crime? Another comment, the government disbanded the K9 unit, so they are the ones to blame for some guns on our streets. Another comment, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia just can't do that job. He just needs to walk out of office because St. Lucia just keeps going down. Another comment, the most readied PM in the Caribbean has failed miserably. Someone says the most readied PM is now the most clueless PM. Another comment, what part did the Crime Prevention Minister play in it not being worse? Another contribution, every time there's an incident, the government always ready to supply the full support of the government. What were they getting prior to that? Another comment.
We have a call before that. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Jim.
Good afternoon to you, Rick.
If I may ask, did you possibly anticipate a call from me last night?
From you? Yes, I expected a call from you. Did you call? Did you try to get the line?
Pardon?
Did you try to get the line?
No.
Okay. Why?
I sat there absolutely fascinated.
Why?
This is one of the most fascinating Newsmaker lives I've ever watched.
Tell me why. Explain.
Take, for example, that last statement there. I mean, Tim, we have 71 deaths recorded so far, most gun deaths, most of them.
Most of them, yes.
And I made the point that it's getting so we can almost expect mass shootings on special days, because I gave you 4 or 5 instances of that.
Yes,
right?
we have experienced those, yes.
I underscored all of that. And Tim, 99% of that discussion centered around good boys. My brother, we do this. I mean, my brother, you could have killed more than one person there, and all that. Tim, we have to be careful not to be putting balm, fiction, on, on fatal wounds, You want to tell me and forget this year? Check the year before, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before. And the figures are not just horrible for all the years, but by all the signs, since nothing is being done that's different, we can anticipate more people if the norm continues, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We can expect more of the same, because nothing is being done to attack the problem that is different from what has been done for the last 30 years. For all the time I have been here, Tim, we have heard the goodies. And I'm not saying that, there's not room for that. Don't misunderstand that. But when you have killers, that's what I don't seem to be able to get through to people. We have a serious problem of parenting in all its guises. Parenting requires a lot of assistance from the government. I know all of that. Parenting requires housing, requires education, requires assistance, requires fathers taking care of them. We know all of that. We have a horrible problem of parenting. But when those problems have been allowed to change from just unruly babies, unruly children of 4 and 5, and turned into mass killers, unconscionable mass killers, we have set aside certain departments to do with killers, Tim. It's like if you have a toothache, you go see a dentist. If you have a heart attack, you don't go see a dentist, Tim. So we have killers, people killing people unconscionably. And instead of dwelling on the things that are required desperately to deal with killers, and in the killings, we don't even think of the victims. Even I tend to forget the victims. The killers and the victims should be the number one priority of this country, I've said before, by 3, first, second, and third priority, Tim. Instead, we seem to be putting on shows. We seem to be encouraging the idea, his mommy had this, find out where he grew, he was a good boy, and all that kind of crap. What the hell is going on? Am I supposed to say, man, these people, forget about these people, man, it's a waste of time. Because what we need is prayers. Why don't we all do that? Why don't we just ban the police force and order novenas every day, all over the country? Why don't we do that? Why don't we abandon all the money we spend on law and order and put it into the church? I heard somebody actually suggest that until we have more or less priests as a government, they didn't put it that way, but that was the impression. You remember that call?
I remember, yes.
We might as well just, instead of having the priests in the church, most of whom are useless, by the way, because they don't deal with any reality, have those priests as members of parliament. That was what I heard last night. When are we going to understand that when people have killed people, you have homicides and murders, and those murders and homicides have victims, 2-year-olds sometimes, 4-year-olds sometimes. But what if we are more concerned with are the killers to feel sorry for them, my brother, my brother. My brother, my ass. You're a killer. You're rendering our country full of fear. You're having men, women, and children scared to go to the beach, scared to go to a park in the open afternoon. I heard nothing about the police force in this thing that happened this week. Nothing about the police. When are we going to understand we don't have a police force? A police force that is obviously and deadly inactive or inoperative or dysfunctional is a non-existent police force, Tim.
I think what is happening, Rick, we are just being too neglectful on several fronts. And the part you brought there about the police has proven itself to be quite inefficient over several decades now, with government after government identifying the police as a problem, wanting to address those issues, but being afraid to take the hard and harsh decisions so that once and for all, we can have a police force that will be effective, that could be reliable, that could be trustworthy. And maybe, Rick, it would necessitate going outside of the shores of St. Lucia. In other words, doing something that is drastic and something that is radical, and that would imbue some confidence among the St. Lucian public and also the rank and file of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force as well.
Tim, people who kill people do not deserve pats on the back and finding out how did they get that way, how did your mother treat you when you were 2. That's not for the police. That's for another set of people. Bringing up children badly is also a crime. Where our social welfare officers to deal with policemen are not social welfare officers.
But you hear all the time, Rick. You hear all the time that we don't have a sufficient number of social welfare workers. We've heard that before.
But what we have heard before, Tim, is a lot of prayers, a lot of saying that children need that and children need that. All of those are crimes that need to be taken care of as well, you know. The treating children badly.
Yeah.
The abuse of kids in schools. Those are serious crimes as well. But we treat them the same way as we treat the killers. In other words, we should be just as hard on teachers who abuse children. We should be just as hard on kids who behave badly, you know, little kids who stab each other. Because we should be more concerned with housing, where we can house people who are poor. There are a lot of other areas. But for me, the number one problem in the country is the butchering of people almost on a daily basis. And we seem to be talking our voodoo talk about prayers, leave it to God, and the priest make the priest prime minister. And until we put this priest in office and until we leave the murdering for God to solve, it will never be solved. That is what we are preaching to the country. We are actually hoping the country will buy that, so that all we'll do every time there's a murder who is not a cousin of ours or a mother of ours is pray. Goodness gracious, Tim, what are we? Savages? What are we? And we seem to be able to accept every atrocity as something to care about, except the killing that's been going on here for so many years. And it's not just now, it's just got to a point that you can barely wonder about going to the beach. But we've had that kind of neglect and what you call inefficiency. I believe it's much worse than that. It is that the police have no real incentive to do any work. A lot of them are untrained. We still refuse to look into what the report said, that the facilitators of crime are in the government, politicians, police officers, etc. We refuse to look at that. And that should be the number one thing to see. Is that true? Our court cases take forever to get to court. All up 9-10 years before you can appear before a judge. 75% of the borderless inmates are people waiting in custody for a day before court. That's how we're living, Tim. We're living like bush savages. Thank you. God.
Thank you so much for calling. Just heard there from Rick Wayne, and one of the popular contributors to this broadcast. Don't know if we have any more comments in the chat room.
Yes, Tim, we have quite a few. In the chat room, someone says, let's hear what the MP of Castries have to say. Hope he calls your show like last week. Another comment, looking for everyone to blame except themselves for the lack of proper governance. Now the person to blame is the magistrates. Another comment, the two most dangerous things in St. Lucia right now are the poor quality of healthcare and Richard Frederick's mouth. Someone says, Team, any government in power is directly responsible for the out-of-control crime because they have the finance and resources, but if you have no plan, the people cannot expect better. Team, 3 ministers are presently responsible for crime or security, but crime is still increasing. Shame on this waste government.
We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Tim.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Right, okay. Tim, I just wanted to call to say that I could not have agreed with Rick more than what he said. I think he was really spot on. Now, Aaron Alexander, what planet or what world is he living on? You can help me on that, Tim?
Well, I could tell you he appeared on the broadcast in his capacity as the head of the Inola Council for the Advancement of Rastafari. But we need to put it into context. He came on the show in light of a statement that he issued this week, focusing on youth violence in St. Lucia. Black young men who are murdering, maiming, injuring each other.
Right. Mm-hmm. But when he moved to his solution, I think he was more on an emotional appeal to be relevant. Because if we remember, Tim, many, many years ago, Dr. King had this Stop the Violence as a pathologist
campaign
saying. And that never really worked. So, I mean, for Aaron to come with that, yes, okay, he's trying something. But like I said, maybe it's just emotional relevance, because that is not going to be the solution, as Rick has been trying to point out. Now, I don't know the consequences. Not the consequences. I don't know the facts concerning the shooting on the Derrick Walcott Square. But let's just say, for argument's sake, it is something involving a drug matter. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Because, there's always conflict in drug matters with different turf groups. Can a man walk into a police station and make a report that John Brown stole his cocaine? That doesn't happen. So these guys are going to settle their disputes. I'm not saying that's what happened in that incident, but these kind of things do happen. They have to find ways to settle their disputes, and they'll settle their disputes on the street. Drugs is a big business. So if you cannot go to a police station and make a report that somebody stole your marijuana or your cocaine, the alternative is for you to take the law into your own hands. I mean, if you look at, let's look at Trinidad, Jamaica today, and look at them 30 or 40 or 50 years ago. They were not like that, but they never improved. And as hard as it might be, as Rick would probably agree to, it's not going to change like that. Trinidad is getting worse every single day for the last 10, 15, 20 years. The same thing with Jamaica. So, I mean, it's a false hope to think that if you're just going to toss one or two things around, crime is going to go down or abate. That I mean, sad to say that it's not going to happen that way. So the solutions, yes, we have to look for them elsewhere. But I just wanted to point out, Tim, that this Aaron Alexander's line is just a line. It's like putting a little plaster on a injury that is long gone septic.
So therefore, sir, would you recommend? And I hope you don't mind me identifying you. That is Mr. Louis Murray.
No problem.
Mr. Louis Murray was a consultant, forensic scientist, and crime scene management specialist.
Was
okay,
Tim,
retired.
On, Tim, was moved
okay,
on.
all right.
Yes.
So what would you recommend, sir?
Well, Tim, you'd appreciate that there are a number of things that have to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will tell you about starting from the schools and so. It's not something that anybody could just sit down, maybe, and I can give you in in a few minutes or so. But let's agree that there are a number of serious measures that have to be taken. And it is not going to, my brother is another life, don't shoot your brother, be kind to your brother. That's not working, Tim. That's not, if you even look at the age of the my brother, where before it was 25, 30, now it's 18, it's 16, it's 15. So nobody taking on that my brother talk. You have to come with some serious issues.
But before you conclude, at least give me one area you think that is worth tackling, or one recommendation.
Well, okay, that's what I was just going to. If you think, I think, and you alluded to that, a serious overhaul has to be made of the police force. You went as far as saying, look outside. That might very well have to be the case. But if you're going to consider your force as your monitor or your controller of crime in the country, if it's not working, and we know what we hear, you have to look at a serious revamp or investigation into the police force. Because you probably have policemen who go to work every day, not all, but a lot of them go to work every day, draw a salary, and some of them are just not interested. If a crime happened, it happened. And I mean, many years ago, I thought that the stage would come in St. Lucia where probably the main thing police would be investigating is homicides. We're talking about homicide because it's a life. But what about petty crime? What about rape and these things? These things are probably all on the back burner because police have their hands filled with homicides. I mean, look at the most glaring example we saw. Literally the DPP fighting with the commissioner in public. That's basically what it boiled down to. So what hope is that when you see your DPP, who is your the most important prosecutor, almost in a fight with the commissioner of police, arguing who should do what in a homicide case. And that's not him. So the police force, if you ask me for one, the police force has to have a serious looking into. Yeah, Tim.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling the broadcast.
Okay.
You just heard there from Mr. Louis Murray, a retired consultant, forensic scientist, and crime scene management specialist. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
Christmas in this year.
Can I have this? We have an extra $400 from Flow. You can have everything you want.
More gifts with Flow. With Christmas in, win weekly prices up to $10,000 in cash. Sign up for a Christmasing with free groceries from Flow, plus a chance to win weekly prizes and up to $10,000 cash. Head over to your nearest Flow store or visit discoverflow.co. Flow, we Christmasing. More gifts with Flow.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
This Christmas, there's a warmth that goes beyond the twinkling lights. It's the warmth of family, of sharing a meal that brings everyone closer. KFC's Festive Feast isn't just a meal, it's a moment where every bite brings a smile and every piece brings you home. So get the family a festive bucket or the festive box. KFC's Festive Feast, bringing families together, one delicious meal at a time.
Crunch the holidays however you want. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Get your home holiday ready with unbeatable savings at MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt. Enjoy pre-Christmas savings of up to 50% off on selected Christmas items this season. Transform your space and make your home shine. Everything you need is here. MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt pre-Christmas sale is happening now. Shop early and save big. Your holiday home improvement starts now. Terms and conditions may apply. Hurry while stocks last. See in-store.
Ever walked into an ice cream shop and felt overwhelmed by the flavors? Mom's eyeing vanilla, Dad's set on rum and raisin, and the kids going on about cherry chocolate and pistachio? Well, this Christmas, there's one thing everyone can agree on. Still, whether you're already a proud owner or expecting one under the tree, Still is the gift that keeps on giving. Powerful, reliable, and backed by amazing after-sales service. From lawnmowers to brush cutters and blowers, Still makes your yard merry and bright all year long. Head over to Europa in Massad Grosile or call 452-0763 and give the gift of Still this holiday season. Remember, we service what we sell.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas.
La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence is revolutionizing healthcare right here in St. Lucia. No longer do you have to travel abroad for high-quality head-to-toe MRI images. Our center features the latest 1.5 Tesla MRI technology from General Electric. Operated by GE Healthcare certified technologists, our radiation-free scans provide unparalleled clarity. Our board-certified specialist radiologists ensure more accurate diagnoses. Don't take our word for it. We continue to serve many satisfied patients. And the best part? Your MRI report arrives within 24 hours, and we can send images directly to your doctor anywhere in the world. Say goodbye to long wait times and unnecessary travel expenses. Trust the Caribbean's leading medical imaging service located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence today and take the first step towards a healthier tomorrow.
To have a strong structure, you must have a strong foundation. And at Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer top quality aggregate materials at great prices. We supply high quality ready mix, cast-in sand and plastering sand. We also take special requests for specific materials that you may require for your building projects. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
Light up the holiday season. Excel gives you every reason. There's a special loan wrapped up just for you to make your every Christmas dream come true. Light up your Christmas and lighten your financial burden this season with a holiday loan from Axel Finance. Plus, every loan gets you a chance to win your favorite kitchen appliance and grocery vouchers. Light up the holiday season. Axel gives you every reason. There's a special loan round up just for you to make your every Christmas dream come true. Come in today and get your Axel Finance holiday loan.
Older people, the vulnerable people, they're the ones who are suffering by this two-partism system. And then they come and tell you, protect the victory. Is protect the victory going to give you food? Is protect the victory going to protect you from those guns? Is protect the victory going to give you money to pay at the hospital when you have to face those bills? Is protect the victory the one going to help you when you sit down there at OKEU for 12 hours and you cannot get any assistance? Is protect the victory the one that's going to help you when you have St. Jude's with roof falling on you and they have to take down the roof? And up to now, after 15 years, we cannot have a proper hospital. People in St. Lucia, stop protecting the victory.
Tuesday's caller of the day. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Good day.
Yes,
How you
sir.
doing?
Good afternoon to you. I'm
Good
okay.
day to
How
you.
about you, sir?
I'm good, sir. Tim, I must agree with Rick earlier and your last caller, Mr.
Louis Murray.
Louis Murray. Good colleague, good men who have served. Tim, there are a few things that we are, Mr. Murray and Rick touched the more essential elements, but there is a few, one or two, that we're not looking at. Tim, with 75 or thereabout homicides a year, that brings it to about 6 a month. And look at that, about 1 a week. Okay, now in instances when you have more than 1 a week, we have to ask ourselves, who are the persons working to solve those matters? There are fewer than 20 men working that, Tim. And if you get 3 a week, like Rick mentioned in the Independence holiday, you had 4. At one time, you had 3. You had 2 shootings. That shooting on Monday, you had 1 person died. 1 is injured, badly injured. It could have easily been 2. Tim, the same crop of men, recommendations were made some time ago to have those men, because you have men leaving the service at 55, Tim. And you have some of the top criminal investigators leaving. And who are you leaving back? You have very little training going on. Who are you leaving back to investigate those matters, Tim? Recommendations were made, they were not followed upon. And we just blaming the DPP, we blaming this one, we blaming the Commissioner of Police, we blaming. But where are the persons who have to come to the table, Tim, to put those things together? Tim, we had, look at the justice system. We had the former DPP telling you, and I've been to our office, the DPP has 300 Tim. That's not easy, 300 homicide matters on the desk. You can hardly see her on a chair if she's sitting down behind the desk.
Which year are you making reference to?
That was the former one I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm not even talking about Mrs. Green.
Okay.
Mrs.
You're talking about Victoria Charles Clark.
Yes. And she would tell you the same thing that Mr. Green is telling you today. So we are not moving. So the problem is not them, Tim. You have a guy, Tim. I can give you an instance there, a scenario. You have a man, and I dealt with that case just prior to leaving. This year, you have a man who was on remand for shooting 2 persons in a particular area. The persons, for some reason, and we know why, don't want to pursue the matter against him. So the man was arrested for charge for one of the primary offenses, discharging a firearm in public. Because for that one, you only need one witness, which is a police officer. Nobody else will testify against the man. And we know why. The man is on remand for about 10 months. The case is calling, his lawyer is not ready, and it's not because the police is not ready, because I am the one doing in the case, I can tell you. Not because of the police. His lawyer is not ready. He has not been paid, so that the system drags. Listen well. Not the police. So, time approaches, the man now gets bail. He gets another lawyer. He gets bail. When the matter is about to start, he gets another lawyer. So there's a further delay. He gets bail. He's caught again with wrongs of ammunition. He's remanded again for a second offense. You know, this man is out. This man has been out for the past month. What do you expect to happen to him? Neither of the two cases have been heard, have been started.
But yet still,
what do we expect?
But yet still, he has been granted bail.
Yes, the man is on bail for two firearm matters. Well, one for discharging a firearm, one he didn't have the firearm, but he had the ammunition.
So therefore, maybe
Obviously,
we need.
the guy has a gun.
Maybe that's controversial. Maybe you need to take some of the discretion of the magistrates in such instances, and ensure that it's mandatory that you remain on remand while those cases are pending because of the severity of those incidents and the fact that they are a menace to the society.
That's one of the considerations the magistrate have to have. But Tim, you know how many of those guys, and that's one guy, and Tim, you know how many of those guys are repeated offenders? So what do we do? Build another prison? The prison is personal, bodiless problem.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fellas at Bodily,
on remand.
The remand population at Bodily is about nearly 400 of the guys who are there. On remand, we are waiting trial. What do we do? Build another prison? Probably we can get persons have suggested we get bracelets, get those fellas, even though they're on bail, so you can track them. Who's going to track them? The fellas' parents who cannot even track them. Who's going to track them? So, Tim, the problem is big in that place. So what is happening on the square there and on the beaches and anytime there's a holiday, those things will happen, Tim. But the police now have to step up the game. The crime fighting is an expensive endeavor. The government cannot, every time you give a car, a pickup van, you say you give up, as though the police is supposed to just wave a wand and get those criminals because you get a van. Most of them, the vans are packed because there's no driver to drive it. The policemen don't all have license, or they're not all authorized to drive it. So even though you have 4 new vans packed there, that will fight crime. Our priorities are wrong, Tim. We need training. We need to keep one of the best recommendations I can give you, because I know you might ask me. Let the commissioner go back in his reports and get the recommendations made by the officers who have left to have the criminal investigators stay on rather than appoint 20 new officers who you cannot train. But we have 150 pending. Who's going to solve them? Now, when you hear men like Mr. Murray have left the service, Mr. Murray called you there. He can help. The man is a forensic scientist, just like others who have left too. But why are those men just being packed on a corner and we still have a major issue with crime solving?
Yeah, good point.
in the country. Tim. Mr. Louis Murray he's gone. There are others who have gone before before him. Where all the criminal investigators, where all the major crime men who have left? Those guys are there, they're available. Those guys have the experience, they have good knowledge of what's going on. But let's stay there and dream. Let's stay there and dream, and we'll see what figure we'll end up with in 2024. Let's dream. You find it strange happening in, like Rick Wynn mentioned, it happened at the cathedral. It happened right on the square next door. Where else will it happen?
Okay, caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate your contribution, sir. Let me turn my attention to Amanda and what's happening in the chat room, Amanda.
A few comments from the chat room. Someone says, to see any measurable change in the fight on crime, there has to be an effective judicial and law enforcement system. Having one work efficiently without the other will always result in chaos and no justice. Another comment, the very first step our country must take is to remove the white-collar criminals we now have in government. Another comment, we can't fight crime without also talking about the public not having confidence in the police department. Someone says, we need to update our camera system in St. Lucia. Up to now, we can't identify the bike number plate. Another contribution, the police, through their inaction when it comes to ghetto and blocks, have made it an option to be considered by impressionable young persons. Someone says, Aaron didn't hear that Pip said that he knows who are the ones that are doing the killings. Another comment, why didn't he ask Pip and his preventing crime minister to have them to answer for their acts? Someone says, the police in Barbados and Antigua started tackling the crime by dismantling the blocks in every community. What efforts are being made in St. Lucia? And in the chat room, someone says, thank you, team. We employ politicians to formulate legislation, put in place legislation which takes away discretion from the magistrates. Simple. That's it for now, Tim.
Thank you so much. Let me see if I have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through. And somebody says there, yesterday the police stopped a private ambulance en route to the OKE hospital with a patient on board. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Timothy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
And good afternoon to the lady on the side.
Good afternoon, caller.
Timothy, we have a problem in St. Lucia. We had some SSU fellas. I saying there was 100%. But them fellas, when them fellas that step up in a ghetto, them fellas who have their private van and they move whenever something major happen, and the criminals the ones them fellas coming for you. It ain't no joke. Timothy, I don't know who inside there. They break down that barrier. They send them fellas and do normal work. Send them and do security. Protecting this, send them in traffic. These are the major fellas. Them fellas train for that. Them fellas go to school for that. Them fellas go all foreign and do this work. Put them fellas to sit down on the desk. But the criminals know them fellas because them fellas are giving no joke. When them fellas come on you have to behave yourself. Them fellas, they go want them fellas to meet them twice. But now, Papa show the police, when police go in the ghetto, fellas smoking weed in the police face, disrespecting the police. Like marijuana legal to smoke in police face now. That's what I'm saying. As I saying. You see that thing on the square there? They have a ghetto going on the square. The same place I think they should demand. They have a ghetto right on the square going on there. You think the police are saying that? Weed selling, all kind of things selling right on the square there. You think people are saying that? People saying that, but nobody saying nothing. So as that shooting happened there, let me see what will happen. If the ghetto thing will still be there. That is a place for children waiting for their family, you know? It's gangsters sitting down there with smoking, the little kids passing up and down, Ave Maria, you know, Papi show that going on in St. Lucia. And the fellas in town, the ministers passing things, they're seeing them things happening in town. And they come in and talk. When two people get shot, they don't come and say, oh, you know, we give the police the full force. They give them vehicles. And the vehicles packed by the police home or by the inspector home, and nothing happened in our country. That's my contribution this afternoon.
Thank you so much for sharing your contribution with us. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let me see if I have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, I don't think we necessarily need to look outside of St. Lucia for one or a group of officers to manage the force. I know young professional police officers with the right qualifications who have demonstrated that they have the administrative and leadership skills that could take the RSLPF forward. These individuals have been intentionally kept back because of an assumption that they are linked to individuals in a particular political party. And instead, we have a group of individuals who have shown that they don't have what it takes at the helm of the police force. There is a new police commissioner, and if you ask me, it's just a continuation of the poor administration, poor judgment, and complete incompetence. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Okay, somebody says there via WhatsApp. So we paid criminals to stop crime. Now we're begging them, my brothers, to stop crime. And yet there's the police who have been given authority to deal with them sitting on their backsides, giving innocent citizens tickets and crashing vehicles. Welcome to the lawlessness that you all voted for. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
I call your program far and few in between these days, but I just heard something on your program that had me a little shocked. Is it true that we have a ghetto on the revered Derek Walcott Square? Is that correct?
That's according to the caller before you.
Well, what the caller said, I do think is far-fetched and something that one should not believe. I don't know if you're aware that we had a similar environment existing right on William Peter Boulevard.
Yes, yeah.
Where, right, exactly. So it calls into question how serious we are, as the caller himself suggested, in terms of confronting these issues. And you wonder if there are not wider complexities. Is it because people know the actors or people are relatives? I don't know. I don't want to be too suggestive. People might say, okay, I'm stopping short of saying what's supposed to be said. Well, what's supposed to be said is what we all aware of, we're all knowledgeable of. And I think things have reached a point in this country now where, certain demands have to be made, by the populace. And we have to find ways to demonstrate those demands in a tangible way. So the persons who are in authority, the persons who are actors in terms of resolving those issues, step up and do what they're supposed to be doing. The point is, these people earn monthly salaries.
Yeah,
and they're supposed to deliver. And in the real world, when you don't deliver, there's an appraisal process. You are given ultimatums or you're dismissed. I don't call your program and other programs so much before as I did before because of just absolute frustration with our country, our citizenry, and how much we just sit back, whisper to each other, make comments in chat groups on Facebook, and we also tolerable about the crap and nonsense that is going on in our country. The beautiful Helen of the West, we have an Olympic gold and silver medalist, we espousing all those values and so on, but there's so much in the core of this country that is rotten and is calling into question our viability and continuity as a successful state. Thank you, Timothy.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. Still to come on the broadcast, vendors band together against what they deem to be an injustice. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex Customer Service Office in Castries is now opened for business, but we've moved. We're now located on Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci on the ground floor of the new Carilac building. We're open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Check out our online options first. But if you do need to come in to see us, we'll be pleased to serve you with new connections, bill queries, payments, and other service requests. Lucilex Sanssouci office, ground floor of the Carilac building. New location, same great service.
Ho, ho, ho! KFC is bringing the magic with 12 days of Christmas. Starting November 18th, anytime you buy a festive feast at KFC, you can enter to win amazing prizes. Just write your name and number on your receipt and drop it in the entry box. From December 9th to 20th, we're giving away a NutriBullet, Apple Watch, iPhone 15 Pro Max, and more. And on December 20th, the grand prize, an all-expense-paid trip to Jamaica with tickets to see Vibes Cartel at the Freedom Street concert. Don't miss the holiday kickoff on November 22nd at Rodney Bay KFC from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. KFC, finger licking good.
Okay, Max, if I'm going to steal Christmas this year, I'll need a smart TV to keep an eye on the who's, a smartphone to call for backup, cash, and a stove to bake this ham. Seriously, I can get all this for free if I signed up for Flow.
We're Christmasing with thousands of gifts even the Grinch would love. Sign up for a postpaid mobile bundle or high-speed broadband and win big every week. Visit discoverflow.co now.
It is well known by all St. Lucian professional tradesmen and even homeowners that European-made tools are the best. Well, guess what? Europa Hardware is having a massive promotion on the Metabo brand of power tools. From impact drills to angle grinders, jigsaws to rotary hammers, sanders and hot air guns, all at unbeatable jaw-dropping prices. Don't let your tools let you down. Come to Europa and stay standing with a proud in-the-hand tool from Metabo. Call us at 452-0763 or visit us in Massat Grosile. Europa, we service what we sell.
La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence is revolutionizing healthcare right here in St. Lucia. No longer do you have to travel abroad for high-quality head-to-toe MRI images. Our center features the latest 1.5 Tesla MRI technology from General Electric. Operated by GE Healthcare certified technologists, our radiation-free scans provide unparalleled clarity. Our board-certified specialist radiologists ensure more accurate diagnoses. Don't take our word for it. We continue to serve many satisfied patients. And the best part? Your MRI report arrives within 24 hours, and we can send images directly to your doctor anywhere in the world. Say goodbye to long wait times and unnecessary travel expenses. Trust the Caribbean's leading medical imaging service located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence today and take the first step towards a healthier tomorrow.
Attention homeowners, are you ready to transform your space this holiday season? Don't miss out on the Tile Gallery Incredible Jingle Tile Sale, happening now through October 31st. For a limited time, save up to 50% off on a stunning selection of tiles, only at the Tile Gallery. Whether you're upgrading your kitchen, bathroom, or outdoor, we have the perfect style for you. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Visit us today and elevate your home with beautiful tiles at unbeatable prices at the Jingle Tile Sale. The Tile Gallery is located at MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt stores. Terms and conditions may apply.
At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
On Sunday, November 24th, everyone's heading to Bayview Escape in VG for the brunch of the century, Sunburnt. Sunburnt is pulsating entertainment. Sunburnt is ultra food inclusive. Sunburnt is good vibes only. Come party in the land of the heat with DJ JH and Dallo, Yellow and Statics, Hollywood HP, Power 97.9 FM, DJ Fraternity, and more. Early bird tickets $80, regular $130. Available at Power FM's office in VG. Dress code 50 Shades of Pink. Welcome to Sunburnt. Sunday, November 24th, 3 p.m. Bayview Escape in VG. Sunburnt. Live, laugh, brunch. Don't miss it. You got people in here tonight. Dance with me, baby.
This little vendor trying to do a little hustle. And I have an issue with that they're collecting the $25 from him, and at the same time they're asking him to move from there. I don't see why they want him to come out, because he's there, he's even serving us, because when we sit here every day trying to serve the public, it's difficult for us to go out and get our little thing. And so with him being there, even this morning, I shopped there already, you understand, because he's right there. And so now I don't understand why somebody trying to do a little daily bread and they want him to come out from there. He's not troubling nobody there.
He's trying to earn a living. That's a young man. Look at so many young fellas who are on the block. Crime, that is so rampant. Government do not have a job to give them. And he is trying to earn a living for himself, and they're trying to get rid of him. I do not know, it's 29 years I'm in this market as a vendor. And I've seen people come, people go. People, let us understand that we are not the one controlling the world. We are just passing through. We are pilgrims. The same way we want to earn $1 for ourselves, let us live and let live.
Cannot tell me you living in St. Lucia and you cannot live your life earning a living in St. Lucia. And people are running after you every day. Because running after him, sending him north, sending him south, east, west. What is he going to do for the day? And again, he have people he have employed. He have many workers. I'm there and I'm seeing he almost about six workers he have. So that is a young man that is creating employment for the young people. And yet still you're running after him. This is not right. This is discrimination against humanity in St. Lucia.
Well-spoken vendors at the Castries Market on behalf of a gentleman who is plying his trade and apparently is being given a lot of pressure, receiving a lot of pressure from the CCC, asking him to relocate. So where is the island's minister with responsibility for vending affairs or vendors affairs? 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to Amanda. Tim, it's real strange that a certain minister says that the minister responsible for local government said that nobody's going to touch my vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And today we have this unfortunate situation, this report of what's happening to this gentleman. It's really proves to St. Lucians that, politicians will say one thing to get into office, and when they're in office, they'll do completely different. But Tim, I wanted to bring up a subject that I know which has been bouncing on and off the media waves, and it's CIP. After looking through these contracts, what has been most salient for me is the amount of money, the value of these contracts to St. Lucia, the monetary value. So I took the contract signed in the contract between the government and the Caribbean Galaxy of 2022, and the one between the government and BMAX?
Yeah, BMAX.
Of 2023, yes. And the 2024 contract between the government and Caribbean Galaxy. In total, the government allocated 11,628 files. Okay? In the case of the 5,000 to Caribbean Galaxy, the one signed in 2022, that's the value of $1 billion minimum.
That's for the Canals project. Is that for the Canals project? Yeah.
Yeah, $1 billion US, but I prefer to use EC dollars. 2.7 billion EC dollars. Then we have the project, the one for another Caribbean Galaxy project for the they call it the Enterprise Program or infrastructure, which is 6,000 files at $100,000. That's a minimum of 600 million, US dollars. And then the BMAX contract, which is 628 files, which is approximately $78 million. Tim, when I converted all of these contracts into EC dollars, it came to 4.95 billion EC dollars, Tim. Almost $5 billion of projects. The startling thing for me was the profit margin, the profit for the Chinese company and the Serbian company is 3.3 billion EC dollars, Tim. 3.3 billion EC dollars. Now, this is what are we getting in return? We are getting the Canals Hotel, which doesn't belong to us. It belongs to it would belong to Caribbean Galaxy. But we were supposed to get the employment and, the economic activity as this hotel is operating. And as we know, this hotel is on a standstill. The majority of workers are Chinese, although the contract stipulates that 80% of the workers should be St. Lucian. Secondly, we are getting the housing project, at Rockhall, a project which has yet to start. It should have been finished in 2 years. And then we're also getting varied infrastructural projects, right, which the government has yet to disclose what they're going to be. Tim, we're giving away $3.3 billion in profit. If we were to cut this profit into half, where these foreign, I don't call them investors, foreign parasitic companies get $1.6 billion in profit, and we, the people of St. Lucia, get $1.6 billion in profit. Tim, we would be able to fix our healthcare system, okay? We would be able to fix all of our roads in St. Lucia, our entire road network. We would be able to fund healthcare in St. Lucia. So not only would we be able to fix our healthcare infrastructure, the plants, we'll be able to finance healthcare so that every St. Lucian would be able to get free healthcare for at least 5 years. Free healthcare for 5 years. Not this Papi Show universal healthcare thing that the government's talking about, where it's for only people who are 80 and above, and still they can't even get any services. We would also, Tim, be able to properly fund our security in St. Lucia. So we'd be able to afford $40,000 a month for the K9 unit. would be able to replace scanners and put them at all of our ports of entry. And there was so much more that we could do. But this government has proven that it is either, I don't want to believe that they're naive. I don't want to believe that they're that incompetent. So it makes me start thinking, Tim, is there something more sinister about the reason why the government of an impoverished nation like ours, with a myriad of challenges, mostly financial in nature, that they would give away $3.3 billion in profit to foreign companies? Tim, that is what we need to start thinking about. Where and why are they giving so much money away? Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling. And now we hear from an attorney and a former government minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, and he's been calling for greater vigilance and the due diligence as far as the management of the CIP programs in both his country as well as St. Lucia. And he points out he makes two analogies.
Let me ask you this. Is it wise for you to allow any animal to enter your chicken coop without first confirming that it is a chicken? What happens if you find out after the fact that the animal that you let in was a fox? How many chickens do you think will be left after you come to your senses? And another analogy, do you think St. Peter would let you into heaven before fully checking you out, you and your record? I'm sure you get the point. Let me ask you this. Is it wise for you to allow any animal to enter your chicken coop without first confirming that it is a chicken? What happens if you find out after the fact that the animal that you let in was a fox? How many chickens do you think will be left after you come to your senses? And another analogy, do you think St. Peter would let you into heaven before fully checking you out, you and your record? I'm sure you get the point.
I think we do. Former St. Kitts and Nevis government minister and attorney, Mr. Dwyer Astafan. Let me turn my attention to Amanda. What's happening in the chat room?
In the chat room, someone says, I strongly agree with you. Vendors, let the young man earn a decent livelihood. Another comment, with that kind of money, we can extend on the island. Someone says, you can imagine the GPH deal is we get $1 out of 12 USD. Comment from earlier in the chat room, someone says, what time does this government have to attend to the affairs of the country? I'm asking because corruption is a full-time 24-hour lifetime guaranteed job. Someone replied to this saying, can you please outline the corruption that you speak of, because we all know that the Martinez accusations are falling apart day by day. And a whole back and forth, going on about this topic. Anyways, moving on, someone says, isn't loitering a crime in this country? Why would the law allow it on the Sir Derek Walker Square? Someone says proper surveillance and reckon is one of the ways that police can make their jobs a lot easier, because the criminals do their surveillance too. Another comment, Tim, the French Revolution and Haiti don't have nothing on St. Lucia. We just accepting PJP for his 5-year term. Someone says to fight crime in St. Lucia, this corrupt SLP government must go, because the criminals are working for the politicians themselves. Another comment, Vanguard is the acting commissioner, and I saw an assistant commissioner give an update. If Vern has 6 months to prove himself, where is he? And in the chat room, someone says, crime is everybody's business, because the young folks committing the crimes are children of St. Lucians of all walks of life. So try as you all may, the government is doing more than any other government, but St. Lucians refuse to take on their responsibility. And that's it for me.
Thank you so much for that update, Amanda. We have a WhatsApp message which reads, a message to the Ministry of Health in connection with a young man from Pebouche, Babonneau, who is in a desperate situation with his spine. Months now, he's waiting for an answer, and look, today he cannot walk. He has to pay for surgery. Until he pays for it, the doctor will not operate on him. So please help him. You guys know who he is, because he gave you all the information you asked him for. Today, both of his legs and feet are swollen. Please help the guy. The guy needs $30,000 for the surgery. He has nothing yet because he just buried his son. who was killed by police in Bexon. He was a passenger on a motorcycle. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And this one is kind of long, but it reads, "It is sad to hear the citizens of this country begging for help from the very same people they call criminals on daily basis in the name of the police. It's not the police officers' children or the parliamentarians' children who are sitting in the ghettos or forming the ghettos. It's the children of the voters. So it starts with us as parents and guardians. Gone are the days when we had real police officers who took their oath of office seriously. What we have now is a Mickey Mouse show with men and women parading in police attire. Take a look at the tightness of some of these uniforms and tell me, Tim, if we have serious Leos in this country. Put the country under martial law for 3 months and let's see what happens. We are a country that promotes gangsterism and lawlessness. Listen to the music being played on the airways, the new culture on the streets in gunman. She wants a bad bee he needs. No politician can save us. Only us as a people can save us. I don't want any politician to preach and say they can solve crime when they know that they can't. Allow the people to govern alongside them and maybe they will see a change. But until then, expect the situation to escalate because we love to hide evil and cry wolf when it starts to smell. We need to spend more time loving each other and less time blaming each other. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for that WhatsApp message. Another one reads, I also want to agree with the caller who made reference to white-collar crime. I'm aware that you ought to be mindful of what you say on air, but I wish you could say that one asking you to investigate whether the vehicle of one individual who is linked to a particular minister and who is currently involved in a particular project was intercepted with an unlicensed firearm on board last night. Another one says, in the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s, people felt safe going out both daytime and nighttime. Right now, you have to choose your outings carefully, and even when you do, you still have to be mindful of your surroundings. Sigh. Another WhatsApp message. The guys who got shot was doing business, the exact place. Ghetto, big time. Another WhatsApp message. It's true, there are guys selling spice and playing music right on the corner of the Derek Walcott Square. WhatsApp message, not my point of view. WhatsApp message, not me reporting it. Another one reads, Tim, we have too many vehicles in St. Lucia on a daily basis. It is very difficult to get to the north of the island and back. Problems with the bus stands, particularly on afternoons. No bus to get home, etc. Government needs to do something about it. All right, let's turn our attention now to our question of the day. This one is a little troublesome. Why hasn't St. Lucia's black prime minister been able to end black-on-black violence on the island? Why hasn't St. Lucia's black prime minister been able to end black-on-black violence on the island? And finally, the NewsSpin news of the day reads, a social media ban for children younger than 16 is introduced in Australia's parliament. A social media ban for children younger than 16 is introduced in Australia's parliament. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, and that is NewsSpin. My name is Timothy Poleon. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon, God willing, at 12:30. Goodbye.